Good evening and a warm welcome to the English News Bulletin. Hope you had a restful and fulfilling Saturday. And for this edition, we'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame applauds the role of community health workers in taking care of the people's health and ensures that the necessities will be provided for them to fulfill their duties effectively. First Lady Jeannette Kagame noted that the history of Bisesero Hill should serve as a profound lesson for the youth, demonstrating resilience that should be characterized by every Rwandan. My name is Olive Netena. Welcome to the news in details. President Paul Kagame applauds the role of community health workers in taking care of the people's health and ensures that the necessities will be provided for them to fulfill their duties effectively. This is as on Saturday the head of state met with over 8,000 community health workers. Prince Manzi has the details.
The Meet the President event took place in BK Arena and convened community health workers, hospital directors and partners of the health sector. Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, the Minister of Health, reiterates that the community health workers have spent 30 years following up on the health of the citizens.
Hari indwara ya malaria. Abanyarwanda 2 kuri 3 barwaye malaria bavurwa n'abajyanama b'ubuzima.
For malaria, 2/3 of Rwandans with malaria are treated by community health workers. They have been doing this for 30 years, and the response was a 90% decrease in its patients. We used to record 6 million Rwandans contracting malaria annually, and now we record only 500,000. And though our hospitals are no longer receiving patients of malaria in critical conditions, Your Excellency, they do not work alone. They collaborate with health centers, providing equipment and pieces of training. President Paul Kagame applauds the role of community health workers and the effectiveness of their work. For our country, having unhealthy citizens, there is no future. All bases on life and being healthy. For working, whether you are a farmer, you cultivate only if you are healthy. Be children, for them to be Rwandans willing to develop themselves and the country, they have to be healthy. It all begins there. Some of the community health workers take pride in what they have achieved and have some recommendations. As community health workers, we struggle with reaching the health centers as well as our patients. And we would like, Your Excellency, if possible, to be facilitated in transport. The head of state comments on the recommendations of these health workers. Skilling you up for you to work comfortably and effectively. And on that, the ministry in charge and other partners, we are to find means that each on one's level can be trained. It is not dreams, but rather applicable. It will be done. I said pieces of training. I said also about salary. We are to find means amidst our capacities, but we must multiply things. In Rwanda, there are currently 60,000 health workers. The Ministry of Health demonstrates that through the 4x4 program in 2028, there will be 32,000 more personnel in the health sector, and they'll collaborate with community health workers in serving citizens. Prince Manzi, OTV News.
Thank you, Prince, for the details. Now, on other matters, on Friday, President Paul Kagame presided over the swearing ceremony of newly appointed officials, stressing that their primary objective should always be to serve the people. Serge Nore with more.
The
The swearing-in ceremony took place at the Parliament building and was presided over by His Excellency Paul Kagame. Those sworn in were the new Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Olivier Nduhungirehe, the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, Console Uwimana, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Yusuf Murangwa, the Minister of State in charge of Resource Mobilization and Public Investment, Linda Mutesi Rusagara, and the Minister of State in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Olivier Kabera. Also sworn in was the Chief of Staff of the RDF Medical Health Service, Major General Dr. Ephraim Rurangwa, and his Deputy Brigadier General John Hurichie. Aimable Havugaremye, the new Secretary General of the National Intelligence and Security Services, and Angelique Habyarimana, the new Prosecutor General. President Paul Kagame urged those newly sworn-in officials to work diligently for the sake of all Rwandans.
Abayobozi ntabwo bageraho ikuzo.
Officials are not appointed just so that they may rise up in stature or just think of their own interests, even though these are natural considerations, but your focus cannot stop there. You must also think of your responsibilities and why you have them in the first place. You must serve others in the country, not in your position, because only one person can occupy a position at a time. Therefore, everyone else looks to you to deliver as expected. There are many Rwandans, and you should realize that that position you occupy could have just as easily gone to someone else, and let that give you the motivation to use the resources at your disposal for the benefit of all others.
Ibyo ufite, ibyo ushoboye gukora ibintu bizima bigera ku nyungu z'abandi bose.
President Paul Kagame also urged the officials to make the proper decisions, because an official incapable of making key decisions can only fulfill only a few of the responsibilities they are supposed to.
Thank you, Serge, for the details. Now, while dissolving the Parliamentary Chamber of Deputies on Friday, President Paul Kagame noted that the work that was done by the parliamentarians during their mandate was exemplary. Serge Honore once more.
Honorable Donatil Mukabalisa, who had been serving as the Speaker of Parliament in the Chamber of Deputies, highlighted some of the achievements of the Chamber during its just concluded mandate, including voting on as many as 392 laws, one of them being the country's constitution. 6 of the draft laws introduced during that time came from the parliamentarians themselves. While dissolving the Parliamentary Chamber of Deputies, His Excellency Paul Kagame thanked the parliamentarians for the work they did.
Gusesa inteko ntabwo bivuze kubagaya.
Dissolving the parliament does not mean that we are disappointed in the work that you did. It is just the result of the time that we have now entered, marking the beginning of another era that we must step into. I believe many of you will return, if not all of you. But the business at hand today is to thank you and to bid you farewell until we meet again. This 4th mandate of the Chamber of Deputies that was to serve for 5 years began on the 19th of September back in 2018, but its time was extended after the presidential and parliamentary elections were merged, as stipulated in Article 173 of the Constitution of Rwanda. 61.3% of the 80 parliamentarians were women, the highest figure in any parliament around the world.
Thank you, Serge, for the details on this matter. Now to other news. First Lady Jeanette Kagame noted that the history of Bisesero Hill should serve as a profound lesson for the youth, demonstrating resilience that should be characterized by every Rwandan. Adam Squizera with the details.
Bisesero Hill, located in Kanonji district, is well known for its rich history as a beacon of resistance during the genocide against Tutsi in 1994. The Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Wisman Shandomasen, described the bravery and resistance that characterized the people of Bisesero during the genocide against Tutsi. Bisesero represents the heroism of those who were killed by the British state. They fought for their lives. But what I will tell you, as someone who follows or attends the commemoration activities in various parts of the country, you are not begotten, you are the resistance. 30 years after the genocide against Tutsi, the residents of Bisesero Hill and the survivors say that this history has fostered resilience and unity among them.
niga amashuri yose ashoboka igihugu cyarandihiye.
I completed my studies, since even the country helped me to do so. I have a master's degree. I have work. I'm married. I rebuilded myself, and I'm standing firm. This 30th commemoration of the genocide against Tutsi in Bisesero was also attended by First Lady Jeannette Kagame, who praised the demonstrated resilience. She noted that Bisesero Hill embodies the unyielding spirit of Rwandans who refuse to accept to die.
Bisesero idushushanyiriza neza.
Bisesero shows well that Rwandan hearts were harassed and hurt, but they did not accept to die.
Ariko ntiwemere gupfa.
First Lady Jeannette Kagame also pointed out that this history serves as a profound lesson for the youth, demonstrating resilience that should be characterized by every Rwandan.
Abyeyi, rubyiruko, Bisesero ifite amasomo menshi atwigisha.
Parents and youth, Bisesero offers many lessons, but one of the most important is the great value of the Rwandan identity. During the preparation for the genocide, the people of Bisesero continued striving to live despite enduring prolonged persecutions. Upholding Rwandan identity is essential, even in the face of attacks. Choosing to build Rwanda despite such harassment demonstrates the profound pain and cost of losing one's Rwandan identity.
During this commemoration, 41 bodies of the victims of the 1994 genocide against Tutsi were buried at Bisesero Memorial Site, which is the final resting place for 50,000 victims of the 1994 genocide against Tutsi. The memorial is among 4 listed memorial sites on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Adams Kwizera, reporting for RTV News in Bisesero, Karongi District.
Thank you, Adams, for the detailed report. Now, members of the Genocide Widows Association, Avega Gahozo, were on Friday commended by the First Lady for their courage and resilience over the years. We have details with Serge Nori.
During the function to mark 30 years of the courage of the members of the association Avega Gahozo, it was noted that the widows who are survivors of the genocide against the Tutsi had to endure terrible suffering that left many with physical and emotional scars that they have continued to bear. It was also observed that despite their hardships, the members have continued to develop their lives, some of them becoming very successful business women, refusing to be held back by sadness. The members also noted that none of their achievements would have been possible without the assistance and support of the government. And also present was the Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, who commended the women for their courage before, during and after the genocide against the Tutsi. In her address, the guest of honor at the event, Her Excellency Jeannette Kagame, also commended the genocide survivors for continuing to be an example of both courage and resilience, pointing out that their actions will be a strong foundation and heritage for future generations, and also stressing that the country will continue to support their valiant efforts. The association, Avega Gahozo, was founded in 1995 by genocide widows, with the objective of helping its members to move on with their lives and not be overwhelmed by their grief, and has over the last 3 decades continued to assist its members to do just that.
Now to health matters. Nurses experienced in caring for patients with mental health issues are requesting assistance to enhance their expertise in this field and increase the number of professionals engaged in such activities. The demand for mental health care services continues to rise alongside the population in need. We have details. Across the country, there is a noticeable issue of people experiencing mental health problems. However, in some cases, their family members hesitate to bring them to appropriate healthcare facilities, opting instead to take them to traditional healers, mistakenly attributing their condition to witchcraft. Nurses trained in mental health treatment report an increasing number of individuals with these issues. They highlight that the current number of nurses with expertise in mental health care is insufficient and advocate for expanding their knowledge in this field. Many people with mental health issues go undiagnosed because we often fail to understand the underlying cause. When individuals commit suicide, it is frequently attributed to witchcraft or family issues, rather than recognizing it as a mental health problem. Due to this lack of awareness, we fail to provide the proper care, resulting in unnecessary deaths. The president of the Rwandan Society of Psychiatric Mental Health Nurses, Edmond Dufatanye, emphasizes that based on research, these nurses requires enhanced knowledge in caring for patients with mental health issues. The research conducted on these 98 nurses revealed that 70% of them have only an advanced diploma and only 2 have a bachelor's degree. Additionally, 14 of them are nurses without the skills to treat mental health issues. There is 1 nurse with a master's degree in mental health and 11 with master's degrees in fields unrelated to mental health. This indicates that we may lose professionals because they did not have the means to continue their studies. According to the University of Rwanda, measures are currently in place to collaborate with other universities to enhance the knowledge and effectiveness of the nurses in their practice. The International Association of Psychiatric Nurses highlights their collaboration with various institutions to increase the number of individuals studying these courses and to improve their expertise in the field. The Minister of State in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Ivan Butera, emphasizes that one of the measures to address this issue includes the 4x4 strategy. Since last year, we initiated the 4x4 strategy. This program aims to increase the workforce, as there are currently too few personnel in this field. At present, you often find 1 doctor treating 1,000 patients. Our goal is to increase the number of personnel so that there are 4 doctors per 1,000 patients. We are actively enforcing this program to achieve this goal. It's been 15 years since courses for nurses focusing on mental health patients began in Rwanda. Initially, nurses obtained A1 degrees from universities, but this year, students in these courses have commenced bachelor's degree programs. According to research conducted by the World Health Organization in 2019, approximately 1 in every 8 people, totaling to 970 million globally, were living with a mental disorder, with anxiety and depressive disorders being the most prevalent. Now to the agriculture sector. The Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources is urging the private sector to invest in irrigation infrastructure to support the existing programs and encourage farmers to pay for the services they receive. Meanwhile, the 3rd agriculture season of 2024 has already started, and agriculture activities require irrigation due to the sunnier conditions compared to other seasons. We have details. In rural areas, sunny seasons have started since May and June, affecting crop cultivation, especially maize, as reported by farmers in Nyagisozi and Nyanza. Some farmers used irrigation machines to water their crops, preserving productivity and preventing losses. They are content with the results thanks to these machines. We were worried about the sunny season because it is hard to get a good maize harvest during this period. In the rainy season, we can harvest up to 2 bags of maize, but the harvest is poor when it is sunny. These machines have assisted us in irrigating our crops, whereas before we had to rely on watering cans. According to Ishimwe Emmanuel, the executive secretary of the Yala Yala Group, a company that assists farmers in accessing various tools to increase productivity, farmers should prioritize preserving their harvest. We would like every piece of agricultural land to be cultivated, as machines can provide irrigation services regardless of the area's condition. We urge farmers to cultivate any land suitable for agriculture, and we are ready to provide them with the necessary tools. We are working with Minagri and RAB along with the farmers to ensure they have access to these tools and can avoid losses during sunny seasons. The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Ildefonse Musafiri, acknowledges the progress made in expanding irrigated agricultural areas. However, he emphasizes that these efforts shouldn't be limited to the government. Involvement from the private sector is crucial to further increase the area of irrigation. We had planned to increase the area of irrigation to 102,000 hectares, but so far we have reached 70,000 hectares, and we are still working on it. There are ongoing infrastructure projects related to this in Chirehe, Mahama 1 and 2 and 3, and in Gweru in Bugesera. This means we are making progress with our irrigation project. However, the challenge is that this activity requires significant financial capacity. Whenever we secure funding, we expand our reach. Although we cannot implement large-scale irrigation schemes everywhere, we encourage small farmers to use pumps or other machines for irrigation, especially for farms near rivers. Additionally, we urge farmers to pay for irrigation services so we can attract investors to provide these services. We aim to involve the private sector in this project as well.
Abanyarwanda bamenye ko nibura irrigation igomba kuba service itatangwa na leta gusa ahubwo yatangwa n'abikorera niho dushaka kwerekeza.
During the third agriculture season, farmers often prioritize planting quick-growing crops, particularly those suited to swampy areas where irrigation infrastructure is readily available. You're still watching RTV News. Now to education matters. Parents are commending the quality of education provided at Gabiro High School in Gatsibo district of the Eastern Province, especially the fact that an emphasis is put on ensuring that students that are able to properly express themselves in international languages like English, so much so. Some parents from as far away as Zimbabwe have chosen to send their children to the school. On Saturday, the school held its O and A level graduation ceremony that featured 256 students who successfully completed their studies. The school has 800 students, including nationals from Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, and DRC. To more news, Bank of Kigali has unveiled a new service to help the health sector develop faster, providing medical equipment, financing, providing loans covering 80% of the cost of such equipment to different health centers and hospitals in the country in collaboration with the manufacturer Viebeg Medical. The bank used the launch of this new service to also promote its Nanjani Beka drive that encourages the general public to take advantage of the benefits digitalization has brought to the financial sector. And on behalf of the technical and news production team, we sincerely thank you for being part of our news today. Have a restful weekend.